Hey, this is Brian. You're listening to the Pickle Punks podcast. The question is why.
Okay, I think we could talk a bit about questions. I have questions.
Questions?
Question A. So when the little lady Doris, when she was writing in Polish and the priest translated it, did he talk about what she was writing and what specifically he translated? What was it?
It was the concentration camp.
It was the story of Marcus. It was Marcus's diary, essentially.
So she was writing his diary, I guess, because she was like being powered by Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus was a Nazi.
No, it wasn't Marcus.
It was the victim.
It was the guy who was in the concentration camp and then came to the U.S. and then was tortured again by the doctor. Unlucky son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But it was his journal. But it wasn't really his before life journal. It's his afterlife journal because it documented not only what he did, it documented his death and things that were happening to his spirit after his death. And he was just, she was channeling him to write all that stuff out.
So she was channeling his spirit, writing it out. The priest read that. Was there anything else that she wrote?
She did her homework in cursive when she had one of her new friends help her with the homework.
So it kind of plays that like it isn't so much a demon is actively possessing and controlling her. It's also that she kind of just inherits traits of demons and they kind of fill her natural behaviors.
I think there was the Nazi doctor, there was Marcus, there were the other victims of the Nazi doctor, and there was her father. I think it was all those demons at work.
With the first instance where she had her friend help her with her homework, the comment that she makes is, in a very weird little girl voice, was, "I let her use my hand." So she's inviting the spirits in the beginning in an innocent way, and then towards the end, or towards the middle, when she first sees the freaky demon, it's like, well, she's invited other spirits in, so she's opened herself up to the process to the point that the demon was able to force himself in.
I have more questions.
It's kind of like sex.
These questions bring on more questions.
So when Lena, the middle child
of the two,
there's no middle to two.
had the doll that had the mouth stitched, and the younger child Doris said that the father had to stitch that mouth up to prevent the voices. I don't get it. I was like, I don't understand. So I guess that means that like the father in the afterlife is tormented by the voices as well.
I think he's just helping the family.
So he's demonstrating how to stop the demons by using the doll. Yeah. Why couldn't he just tell her that?
Exactly.
There's a level of communication there.
So
you've got Doris.
So then he must have then witnessed previous sort of demons taking control of humans' bodies to know that you have to stitch the mouth closed to stop the process. That's like the key to this. That's the solution.
Or there could be a certain amount of an orientation process when you first die. There could be like a manual or something. It's like, okay, well, now I know what goes on this side, but I'm not able to communicate with the other side. But
that's how life was here. I got a little instruction booklet.
When the little kid,
this is what you're going to need.
When the little Doris first started doing things, she was like whispering in her sister's ear while she was asleep. A lot of it involved Doris saying things. Basically the demon was using Doris to, influence other people with his demon voice, I guess. In fact, the priest was like, "Oh, they told me such wonderful and terrible things." So telling people things helped open them up to it, which I'm assuming is why the older daughter was able to see her father, even though she hadn't actually contacted the spirits through the Ouija board, but that the influence of the younger daughter talking to her and all of the close contact she's had opened her enough to where her father could communicate with her, not necessarily speaking, but was able to kind of get a message across.
Thank you for clarifying that. Any other questions? How you should phrase that is, what are your questions? That opens up the concept that everyone has questions, as opposed to any other questions. Like, who's the idiot that didn't get this shit?
Right.
No, it's what are your questions?
Well, thank you for that little bit of Com 101.
I have a question, not really about the plot, but I just felt like, where are the extra scenes? That's my question.
Like there should be like a director's cut that explains
like this
all this
movie
stuff.
was heavily edited at multiple points. That's why I think it was so unclear, because it just kept jumping around so quickly. It's like I didn't get time to process the dead boyfriend, and now we're finishing the movie. Like, it did have to be an hour and a half. Like,
well, she only ran into the boyfriend like 3 times in the movie, so the whole becoming the boyfriend thing was very quick, and then eliminating the boyfriend was really quick, and then she's running down the hallway and just runs past the dead boyfriend hanging by his neck in the middle of the room, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's my dead boyfriend. So it was a little, the story development was a little bit off.
Yeah, definitely. The first half for me was better than the second half. Like, I mean, the second half kind of was the movie, but the first half was much cleaner and more organized and coherent.
Yeah, it like didn't give you time to really, I don't know the best word for it, but like become afraid. Like, so you have the priest show up, and then now we're in the final act, and it's like, well, we're just starting to figure out what's going on. Like, normally there'd be like a whole nother act where they would go from tense to like normal, so that it could bring you back and like frighten you.
Yeah,
and that just never happened.
The first 3/4 were just kind of like a regular movie that just kind of had nice pacing and it was enjoyable, and then it just kind of like went full tilt the last quarter of the movie.
Yeah, and that's what really threw me off. It scared me more than just a little bit, just because I was again expecting the 1970s, 1980s style movie, and then they threw in just the little jump scare things with the kid in the background and her face getting all messed up and the smiling and all that type of stuff. I wasn't expecting any of that in the movie, so even though it happens all the time in modern movies, because I wasn't expecting it, it actually startled me a little bit.
I have a question.
Oh,
questions.
What exactly is the meaning of the word Ouija?
Ouija?
A Ouija.
Well, just so happens, Ouija...
Really casual, Jim.
Sorry. Ouija is a name that was given to the first commercial witchboard or talking board, and it's an Egyptian word for welcome. Is it welcome? I think it was welcome.
I thought it was goodbye or have a good day or something weird. Good luck.
Good luck. Yes, it's an Egyptian word for good luck. So back in, I think it was 1860, a guy decided to commercialize a Ouija board. And, well, it wasn't a Ouija board then. It was a talking board. And he used the Egyptian term Ouija for good luck in it. And then Milton Bradley trademarked it. And the Milton Bradley game is a Ouija board, but that's the only thing that is actually a Ouija board. The actual board itself is referred to as a talking board.
So when you say talking board, is that like every culture has a way of people that talk to spirits? Like we have palm readers and different I can't think of all the names for them, but there's like different. Every culture has like
some type of a
spirit,
shaman.
Yeah,
shaman.
So is that what the talking board is?
The talking board was thought to be a way to make it easier to communicate with spirits, to where they could assist in the moving of the planchette or placard or whatever that little heart-shaped thing is, and use it to spell out words and make comments rather than, knock once for yes, knock twice for no. It was an easier way to communicate.
It's a tool.
Blow out a candle.
Yes, a tool. Communicate a talking board.
Can you imagine how many people returned that tool? I mean, you bought it at like Toys R Us or something, or at a department store. At least when I got it when I was a kid.
You had a Ouija board?
Yeah,
I still do.
Yeah, and so it's like
I think we lost the little nail that goes in the.
So you buy this board, and with the understanding that you can talk to spirits, you bring it home. You're not talking to any spirits. You know what I'm saying? Like
mine's broken.
It seems like there's a lawsuit there.
Well, they did some
lawsuit.
Yeah,
I didn't see any chutes or ladders in this game.
They did a certain amount of scientific research around talking boards and Ouija boards, and one of the things that they discovered was that what the people operating the board were thinking when they were able to get results from the board itself was generally what the board would show. And I forget the exact term that they used,
What do you mean?
But basically, it's an unconscious movement of your muscles where everybody is supposed to lightly rest their fingers on the little. I really need to get the right word for it, but it's a planchette or whatever.
The tool, the device.
Placenta?
Yes.
The placenta.
The placenta.
Okay.
And since everybody is resting their fingers lightly on it, then the person thinking of an answer and seeing the answer on the board will involuntarily make muscle deflections in the direction, and they will actually push the stylus to that portion of the board without realizing they're doing it. It's kind of like table movements where everybody gets together in a group and balances a table on their knees, and they're supposed to keep it level, but then it starts moving around, and it's like, oh, it's freaky, it's freaky. No, it's involuntary movement.
Never heard of that.
It's a little freaky, though.
You don't do the table dance?
Table up?
No, I guess I need to go outside more. No, I won't.